Have you ever struggled to focus? Have you ever had a time where it felt like no matter what you do, you just can't seem to get your mind to dial in on what you're trying to do? I was just dealing with that today. I tried to sit down and actually read something, which I do this every day. I got a long streak, well over 100 days, and I would think, oh, I can just step into the story and really dial in and just get my reading in. Let's crank out an hour. That's the goal anyway, so just crank it out. But my mind continued to wander away from the text. Like I was reading, but it's like I wasn't reading. I didn't retain anything. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't follow what the author was even talking about. I was reading The Count of Monte Cristo, and I'm like, what are these characters talking about? Who are these people? They got introduced, but I wasn't there, really. Tried to meditate afterwards. Just as bad. I'm trying to focus on a particular image. It's calm my mind down, but it's racing thoughts. There's this thought competing with this thought. Is this thing taking me away? Oh, wait, that's right. I gotta do this. Oh, yeah, that's right. I should do that. I should check out this. I should. Why does this happen? In this world, in this time we live in, we have a trouble with cheap dopamine. We have everything competing for our attention. And these things competing for our attention play on how we are biologically wired. Our brains naturally crave dopamine, that feel good chemical, that chemical you get as a reward for doing something. Naturally, it's supposed to be from doing something challenging. But people who have studied people for long enough have found a way to take advantage of dopamine. What do? They make pleasurable feelings easy to come across without having to put any work in for it. And this rewires our minds to expect dopamine without putting in any work. So when we constantly feed on cheap dopamine, like for example, in my case, I've opened up the same app over and over again to see if I got any new notifications. I've checked my notification tab to see if anybody or anything of value is in there. But for you, the cheap dopamine can look like something else. Maybe it's Netflix and it has autoplay on, so it's easy to just keep watching the show. It doesn't take any effort, you just sit there. Maybe you'll laugh. Maybe you'll feel some kind of emotion. Maybe you'll have an experience that is enjoyable and it's entertaining. It keeps you hooked. But we're retraining our minds in a way that doesn't benefit us. So when we try to do something that is harder, maybe more boring, something that doesn't have an immediate payoff, it's delayed gratification instead of instant microwave gratification. Then we're running into some problems. It feels impossible to focus. The reason I couldn't focus today was because my dopamine receptors were overloaded with how many times I've checked throughout the day, of how much I indulged in some cheap dopamine instead of really working towards something in particular, like my reading, finishing that out before I do indulge in this stuff. It's easy to also fall into the trap of, but I've completed all these other things. I've completed this amount of tasks, so let me indulge, even if you have more tasks to do. Like I may have done some stuff, but still, it wasn't time for me to really indulge in that reward, that celebratory action of the cheap dopamine. I'm not saying we should never indulge in it, but we have to put some kind of boundaries down if we ever want to keep our brains from being rewired in a way that isn't beneficial to us. So the first thing we have to do is guard our mornings, guard our first hours, our first moments of the day, because it sets the tone for the rest of the day. Too many of us wake up in the mornings, and the first thing we do is we grab our rectangular device and we start checking notifications. We start maybe scrolling social media. We start looking at short videos that give us quick dopamine hits. And then by the time we even get out of the bed, our dopamine levels are already skewed, messed up. And then it makes it much harder to do anything of actual substance. We wonder why we feel so lethargic or unenthusiastic when it comes to really doing the actions that are going to move the needle in our lives. So when we guard our mornings, then we guard our dopamine levels. We guard our motivation, our drive. So after we guard our mornings and control ourselves, our impulses, we take this to another level where we use that very thing that we want, that, let's say for me, if it's checking notifications, it has to be at the end of the day or after you complete your tasks, after all of the heavy lifting has been done for the day. And then you actually enjoy it more. That's the funny thing about it. It's like if I want to eat chocolate cake because I have a weakness, then maybe I preserve that reward for after I do a hard workout where it's not my normal workout. Maybe I do a little bit more. Maybe it has to be after I do all these tasks, and then once I do that, hey, I'm golden. We use the if-then principle. If I do this, then I get to do that. So then we get to enjoy it, and without feeling guilty. So we made an agreement with ourselves. We made a commitment. If I do this, hey, then I can do this. It's really that simple. And when we start to implement those two simple steps of controlling the first moments of our day and then using the if-then principle, we can then keep our drive, keep our motivation. We can make more progress while also still enjoying the things that we like to enjoy. We don't have to go without any of this, the pleasure that we like or the things that make maybe the day more enjoyable. It just calls us to be more strategic.